Fail.
Go. Use take 2. We'll start with that.
All right.
We'll start with there. Where should we start? Scene 1?
No,
Yeah.
I thought we were going to say take 2.
Oh.
Take 2, scene 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
Discussion with Dave. It's never a dull minute. And hi.
Hello. Welcome.
Welcome back. However you got here, welcome back.
Yes.
Whether you're on Spotify, YouTube, or Rumble, thank you for being here.
Yes.
I am your host, Mark Davis. My headphones are not coming through very well. See if I can adjust. Hey! Yeah, there we go. We're learning as we go.
Yeah.
We learn as we go.
Learn by doing.
Yes.
That's why a doctor's office is called a practice.
It's a little scary.
Yeah, it's best not to think about it too much. Yeah.
The phrase guinea pig comes to mind. Yeah.
Anyway.
That aside,
I'm Beth. Just Beth.
Just Beth.
And what are we talking about today?
Marca. All things Marca.
We're going to try not to get up on any soapboxes.
Try not to get too political
or
about
political, yeah.
But it's been on my mind lately that there's a lot of things going on culturally. And so it just kind of reassert what is America. When you think of American culture, what is it? What are the things that we look to define ourselves as a nation? Mm-hmm. Because most nations are built around a common culture. There's a common language and history. Lots of history. These people have probably lived there for about 1,000 years. You know, like Wales. Wales.
Couple thousand.
Yeah. Wales, Scotland, Romania, Japan, China. They've lived there for thousands of years.
And when we're over here looking at other cultures, we have certain images that come to mind. But staying here, you know, where we live and been here for generations, we just kind of become numb to the American culture that, you know, other countries might look at us and use to define us.
Yeah, when you're in something for so long, it's like being in a tub. You don't even notice the temperature after a while. It's like, you know, until somebody else gets in and goes, "Hey, my God, it's cold. It's hot in here," or "It's cold in here." You know, you've just been in there for so long, you're used to it.
Or like, you know, when you get nose blind to your own stench and someone says, "Dear God, when was the last time you showered?"
Shower?
Exactly.
Hey, I'm doing my bit for the drought. Conserving water. Yeah. I mean, but in seriousness, you kind of have to look from the outside in. You know, when you think England, the Queen, Parliament, Big Ben, you think
Westminster
Hall, Abbey. When you think France, you think Arc de Triomphe, Eiffel Tower.
Right.
When you think America, Statue of Liberty,
Capitol, White House,
the National Mall, the Lincoln Memorial, Jefferson Memorial, surfers. Hence the Hawaii hula. You know, I got my shirt, rocking the hula shirt here.
Hey, some of the most successful people wear Hawaiian shirts.
Weird Al?
Weird Al, yeah.
Hell
is
yeah.
one of them.
Now that's an American icon I can get behind.
We've known a few others, but, you know. But yeah, exactly. Weird Al is an American icon we could definitely get behind.
Woo! Who else?
That wears Hawaiian shirts?
Yeah.
Well, just people we know personally that we probably shouldn't talk about.
True. I know a cartoon character. Uncle Ted.
Oh, yeah, Uncle Ted.
Bobby's World, don't you know?
Yeah. Uncle Ted. That's dating ourselves a little bit there.
Just a scotch.
Yeah, because that was on when I was like under 10. So.
Yeah. You and I both were about yay high.
Yeah, good 25 years ago.
And that was a here and gone show from when Howie Mandel had hair.
Yeah, back when, Fox Kids, either after school or Saturday morning, Fox Kids. Or sometimes before school.
Because I was trying to tell one of my coworkers about that show and describe it. And he's just like, well, I don't expect you to, I was like, well, man, I don't expect you to know it. It was here and gone back when Howie Mandel had hair.
And he's like Howie Mandel used to have hair.
Yeah. The bald guy on Deal or No Deal.
Yeah.
That guy. He used to have a kind of a curly fro going on. He had the perm. And he had
the Jerry curl.
The Jerry curl perm going. He did stand-up comedy. And from that, he grew into having a cartoon show.
And then being the host of a game show.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's done other things, but that's what we know him by.
Well, I think Deal or No Deal was an attempt to put his career back together. He had a rough go.
We won't talk about him.
Yeah.
He's not an American icon we really get behind. But one thing that bothered me about Bobby's World is I always used to wonder, how did he get his clothes on? Because his head and his feet were huge, and he had this teeny tiny little body.
Best not to think about it.
Okay.
Sorry, it feels like I got something in my eye.
Besides your finger?
Yes.
Did you get it?
I think so.
Totally good.
But there's a few other things. One thing I was watching some videos, it was a gal explaining American culture to people moving here from other places, immigrating here from other places.
Yeah, she was a translator.
I don't know if she was a translator, but she's just kind of putting this out there, and I don't know what her premise was, but she was putting it out there for other people to watch and learn from. And she pointed out a number of things, expressions, phrases, things. Apparently, we're not far off from American being its own language. I'm waiting. How long before that happens? Because we definitely have our own dialect and vernacular.
Well, I mean, any country does that. Every country has its slang. Every country has its different accents and dialects and things like that.
And this kind of gets to the overall theme, which was, how do you sum up America? I don't really think you can sum it up. It's too diverse to really sum up.
Right. And it's so big, so there's several different, landscapes.
Yeah.
You got the Rocky Mountains, you got the
Appalachia,
beaches,
you've got the
Great Plains, and the
open
deserts.
plains of the Midwest, the deserts of the Southwest.
The humidity of the East.
The East Coast, yeah. And most cities on the East Coast, between the Atlantic seaboard to the Mississippi, are pretty densely populated.
Because that's where it all began.
Yeah, and then you cross the Mississippi, and it's just the wide open plains of Kansas and Wyoming and Nebraska and Omaha, Oklahoma. Just these wide open, flat plains where the wind never stops because there's nothing to stop it. And that just keeps right on going until you reach the Rockies.
Right.
Which is kind of funny that the whole Midwest is kind of sandwiched between two John Denver songs. I just now realized that. Country Road, Take Me Home. You talked about the Blue Ridge Mountains of West Virginia, and then Rocky Mountain High. Thought
the Rocky Mountains would be a lot rockier.
John Denver's
full of shit.
Dumb and Dumber. Classic.
But,
and then you've got the Pacific Northwest, which is just pine trees and rain. And then you've got California, which is just everything.
It's just like, damn. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we've got the deserts of Tehachapi, Mojave, Death Valley area. You've got the dense cities of the LA basin, San Francisco, Bay Area dense cities.
You got the agriculture bit in the valley.
Yep. Good old farmlands. We got two mountain ranges. We've got the Sierra Nevadas and the coastal mountains. And then we've got a whole slew of beach towns. California's got it all, geographically. It's a great place to visit. I wouldn't suggest moving here to live here because most of us are trying to get the hell out.
It's just kind of, everyone talks about the Fresno curse, and I don't really think it's specific to Fresno. I think it's just wherever your family is. Because they say, the Fresno curse is if you've lived in Fresno or you were born in Fresno, if you leave, you'll always move back. But I think that has to do with more the fact that you're going to go where your family is.
I think you might be onto something. You might be onto something there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's worth exploring. But I still believe in the Fresno curse.
If you want to.
I don't know. There's just something about Fresno that brings people here from the rest of the state. It's probably economics. Compared to our neighbors to the north and south, Fresno's cheaper.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, it's still damn expensive compared to the rest of the country.
I was about to say, there are cheaper places, but nowhere you'd want to live.
Yeah. Porterville, we're looking at you.
Let's not piss off any people, who live in other towns.
That's true. That's true.
Call us Fresno snobs or something like that.
Yeah. But getting back to America in general, this gal, I was watching her videos, and she was talking about phrases people use that are so, we use them, don't even think about it.
Yeah.
Exactly what you're saying about, you've just been here for so long, you hear these things all the time.
Yeah.
Something weird happens. Boy, that came out of left field.
Yeah. Yeah. Lots of baseball analogies.
Well, because baseball is America's game.
America's favorite pastime.
Yes, it is. And so much so that, it is our oldest sport. As a nation, it's our oldest sport.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, most of our foundings came from England, or at least, thank God we didn't inherit cricket. Of all the things we've inherited from Britain, we didn't inherit cricket. We could, the rugby's cool. We'll take rugby. I'm sure rugby players could beat the snot out of half of our NFL stars.
I would love to see, these NFL prima donnas go up against a rugby team.
Oh my God, they'd eat them for lunch. I don't know who's a NFL star right now.
We don't follow NFL, but
Kaepernick would be reduced to a can of Spam in moments. They would turn him into Spam.
It's neat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I had to throw Spam out there because that's an American invention.
Okay. Well, but it's very well loved by the English because it was given to them in rations.
During the war.
It was one of the few meat-like products they were allowed to have.
Meat-based product, yeah. Yeah. Krusty Burger, the meat-flavored sandwich of the 1984 Olympics.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we look at other cultures and, certain things spring to mind. But, British, obviously we get our language from them.
And we inherit a lot in our founding from them.
Yes, because, all the original settlers were from that area.
From the UK
in general,
area.
Yeah. Be it the Ireland,
Scotland,
Britain, yeah. But they over there have their own way of saying things that we either changed or decided not to inherit. Like, you need to, everyone says, you need to know how the Britain language, like, elevator, lift, bonnet.
Braces, bonnet, yeah, lift. Boot.
Things like that.
Yeah.
Unless you watch a lot of British television like we do.
BBC.
You wouldn't know what they're talking
yes.
about.
Top Gear and Great British Baking Show. Great places to start.
Mm-hmm. Crackers or biscuits. It's like I always heard of them talking about loving biscuits, and I was like, like biscuits and gravy? How do you put that in a package? Until I learned, it's their name for cracker or cookies or whatever.
Yeah. So I got some notes here. And on the subject of baseball being America's game.
Okay.
Now, well, because it's kind of a cornerstone.
Mm-hmm.
That, I mean, we get a lot of phrases from it.
A lot of people that come here visiting from another country usually say, I want to take in a baseball game.
Yeah. I want to sing. This gal, she was talking about being at a party. And the idea was, you drew a card from the stack and you had to hum a song. Mm-hmm. And one of our, that was the goal was to hum a song, and the other person would try to guess it. Mm-hmm. So she started to sing. And her friend, who was British, looked at her like a monkey trying to solve a math problem.
She had no idea.
Not a clue. That's a song. Every American knows that song. Mm-hmm. Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
Even Lily knows it.
She's 6. Well, actually, she knew it by the time she was 4.
Probably before then. No,
Yeah.
There was a little baby bum about it, which I think is a British show.
Weird.
Yeah. Anyway, they got it wrong, but
points for trying. Crazy Brits. Love you, Brits. But we get phrases like that. Not just the song "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," but you get someone has a great idea. They do really good on something. Boy, you really knocked it out of the park. Or you hit a home run with that one. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You tried something and failed. Ooh, swing and a miss. Mm-hmm. Or
like you said earlier, that came out of left field.
Yeah, that came out of left field. Or you're almost done with something. You're on the home stretch.
Yeah, there you go. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's a whole number of them. Swing and a miss. You're out of here. Mm-hmm. The unofficial last 2 words to the national anthem: play ball. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's a little joke that people, you can roll with that one. In fact, baseball has been played in this country for well over 100 years.
Oh yeah. Way over 100 years.
I actually have a little bit of notes on it.
Didn't you say like the Dodgers almost predate California as a state or something like that? Or some baseball team like goes back to like when California first became a state. No, I'm not going to ask you. Remember right now. If someone knows, let us know.
But I know that by like 1890, there was 3 baseball teams in Fresno. That was 1870, and we'd been a state for about 20 years by then.
That's not long.
That's not long.
So maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Maybe. Or maybe something we saw in one of those Ken Burns documentaries.
I never watched the baseball one. By the time I was interested enough in baseball to go watch it, they took it off Netflix.
Oh, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We'll have to check out that Jungle website and find it.
Yeah. But anyway.
Now, baseball as we know it was supposedly designed. It grew out of various things. Supposedly it grew out of the British game rounders. I'll let other people comparing those two to each other, and because I know nothing about rounders.
I've never even heard of rounders. Assuming it's similar to baseball.
That's the impression I get. That supposedly grew out of that. But as we know it today, and as it's been played ever since the rules laid out by Abner Doubleday, it's been an American invention. It's been the American game. It's it was played during the Civil War. It's been around that long.
Wow.
Yeah. So Abner Doubleday, just a few notes on him. Like I said, before the Civil War, he was a major during the Civil War. In fact, it's believed he fired the first shot.
That started the whole darn thing.
The whole conflagrated mess.
Whether it was or not, he took
the credit or took the blame, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah. He was telling people about it anyway. Yeah, that was me. I started the whole war. Go me. Yeah. Oh, we ended slavery, right? It was good, right?
Well, I'm not sure if it was, well, that was me, or it was him. Somebody over there saying, yep, Abner did it. Way to go, Abner.
I'm not Abner. I'm
Guy Incognito.
Guy Incognito.
Well, post-war, he lived in the city of San Francisco and attained a patent on a cable car design that is still in use today, supposedly.
Wow.
Yeah. And in
Busy guy.
Yeah. Now, he passed away in 1893. This is kind of interesting. He never claimed it, baseball, as one of his inventions. He made this list of rules and put it out there, and people...
So he didn't make the game. He just kind of added some order to it.
Added order to it and added a standardization to it. The game had already been played. People were out there doing it. In fact, I was flashing back a little bit, the show Hell on Wheels. There was a scene where it was Sunday, and they were, and the freedmen were out there having their church. They'd found a tree to stand under and recite Bible, and after they're singing, Bohannon goes out there and tries to get them to go and do some things. And it's like, well, you're going to have to convince the guys. You might have to pay them pretty hard, because they were looking forward to a game of baseball this afternoon. And this is 1865, 1866 in that show.
The railway race.
Yeah, and the race to build the Transcontinental Railroad.
Yeah. So
it's that ingrained. They're in the middle of Indian territory, and they're playing baseball. But it was accredited to him by the Mills Commission. The Mills Commission was led by Abraham G. Mills, who was the fourth president of the National League of Professional Baseball Clubs. He did it only for 1 year, from 1883 to 1884. And I think he was involved in the 1888 exhibition game. They gathered up a group of star players from the States, took them to Egypt, and and they were going to play an exhibition game
against Egypt's best players.
I don't know, but this is
it's like, why Egypt?
Because they were going to play, quote, in the shadows of the Great Pyramids.
Bragging rights.
Well, they wanted baseball to be America's ambassador to the world, to export the game of baseball to the world.
Well, we're exporting it to Southern America.
Oh. I mean, we just watched the World Baseball Classic, so I guess it worked. It took a little while to catch on in other places, but...
Oh, Japan loves it. That's why they won.
Yeah. They're good at it.
They're good at it.
The Japanese, as a culture, when the Japanese set their mind to something, they do it, man. They do it to it. For honor. But the main focus of that was to try and, and also, and they were also trying to separate baseball from rounders.
Was rounders known internationally?
I'm going to say not. Considering I didn't heard of it until I watched that Ken Burns movie.
Oh.
I don't know if anybody still plays it. Probably not.
Yeah, because whenever I hear about sports in Britain, it's cricket or it's rugby.
Yeah.
So.
Can somebody please explain cricket to me? I don't understand it. I've tried.
Me neither.
People say baseball is boring. My God, it's like watching paint dry.
Apparently, there have been cricket matches that last for days.
That is too long.
Yeah.
That is too long.
They're worried about the pace of baseball. They're ruining it.
Yes. But there's a Five Finger Death Punch song entitled The Pride, which they kind of sum up a lot of things about America. Johnny Cash and PBR, Jack Daniels NASCAR, Facebook, MySpace, iPad, Bill Gates, Smith & Wesson NRA, Firewater Paleface, Dimebag, Tupac, heavy metal hip hop. Disneyland, White House, JFK and Mickey Mouse, John Wayne, Springsteen, Eastwood, James Dean, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Playboy, Text Me, NFL, NBA, Brett Favre, King James.
King James?
Yeah. A lot of... Well, for the longest time, I thought he said Rick James. But apparently...
King James was Scottish and...
Well, according to...
and he became the Elizabeth I's heir. He's Mary's Queen of Scots' son.
Well, maybe they said Rick effing James, but...
Maybe, but I was about to say King James is not American.
Well, I mean, for the longest time, I thought they said Rick effing James, but...
Maybe they do, I don't know.
Rick James, hold my drink.
Well, I mean, some of the things you mentioned there makes me think of, talking about, being in another country looking in. There's the Rammstein song, America, Coca-Cola, Mickey Mouse.
Yes. Wonder Bra.
Coca-Cola, Wonder Bra, sometimes war. Of course, they meant to say it as, America's taking over everywhere, but,
Yeah.
American culture's, spreading, but, they talked about a lot of the stuff that, was made here in America, and they're wearing their NASA spacesuits, trying to put together that, that flag, and they're, looking at IKEA instructions. It's really
that is such a funny
for a
video.
heavy metal group. They can have some really funny.
They are funny guys.
They are funny guys, and they have funny videos.
I really like that one. That one is one of their funniest videos.
Playing a Star Trek pinball on the moon.
I love Star Trek, because Star Trek was predicting the future. That back in '87.
I think a lot of the technology we have now, scientists saw it in Star Trek and said, I'm going to make that. Because so much of it has come to fruition.
Yeah. Fruition.
Yeah, thank you.
And been realized as daily products. 1987, the Enterprise, Star Trek: The Next Generation aired on national TV waves. Everything on the Enterprise D was a touchpad, was a touchscreen.
Touchscreen.
We have that now.
Automatic doors.
We've had that for a while in every 7-Eleven.
Yeah, for a long time. Communicators. Doo-doo.
Wireless communicators. Yeah.
All we need are pins. Captain the Bridge.
Working on it. Your phone's ringing.
My phone is ringing. Hold on just a sec.
We will now have a short intermission.
Okay, and we're back.
Sorry about that. Little telephone call.
Yeah. Fix it in post.
Yeah, we'll fix it in post. This is post.
Yes. Fence post is what post? Post office? Fence post?
Post haste.
Post haste.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, haste makes waste.
Yeah, it pretty much sums up our show. I'm kidding. But anyway.
Well, whenever I try to do it in a hurry, it always ends up just garbage anyways. Yeah, so, I mean, that's true.
It's true. Anyway, we were talking about...
on the scope of things America got right, that these are things that we as a country have made that work, that are good, and when you look to it and you think, yes, we can take some pride in that. Jazz, rock and roll, country music, love it or hate it, Western, heavy metal, rap, Levi's, Western movies, s'mores.
S'mores is an American invention?
Apparently. The video I was talking to, watching the gal that was talking to her friend, laying out American culture, she was talking...
Schmoes. They're called s'mores, Buzz.
Yeah, well, these people had, they're coming here from Britain and France, various parts of Europe. No idea what a s'more was.
I don't like marshmallows. I'm not a marshmallow fan, but I love s'mores.
There's something
About the gooey, warm marshmallow. And I even ate so many once I got sick, and I could still eat them.
Wow.
That says a lot. Because usually when I eat something so much I get sick, I never want to have anything to do with it ever again.
Wow.
But s'mores and red vines.
Oh, can't keep you away from red vines.
I love red vines. Is red vines American?
I'll look into that. That's a good question.
I have no idea.
I think licorice might have started in Britain, but red vines, I'll look into that. Because licorice,
People who like black licorice, there's something wrong with them. Can we just agree that there's something wrong with you if you enjoy...
I'll agree to that.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't taste right.
Apparently it's big in Scotland, or Ireland, because there's a Irish girl on an episode, or a season of Great British Baking Show, and she was talking about her Pontefract cakes. Pontefract cakes that are basically like black licorice. And she's like, I was brought up on Pontefract cakes. But she was Irish.
More things I need to learn about Irish culture.
Apparently they're very subtle, but big black licorice flavor. And
Interesting. Well, if we ever go to Ireland someday, I'll have to try one.
You do that and tell me how it tastes.
Okay. Could be delicious. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
Say we just got, the type of black licorice that's sold here in the States. Usually it's the same brand, red vine, but...
Yeah. Well, black licorice is the original licorice. The red stuff came later on. I don't remember where that started. I think Britain?
I'd
have to look that one up.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. S'mores.
So s'mores. Yes. And you cook your s'mores on an open flame while celebrating the 4th of July.
Or just camping.
Camping.
It's just a camping staple. You sit around the campfire, you got your marshmallow on your dirty stick, and you're putting it in the fire, and then you take it from the stick onto the graham cracker and sandwich it with the chocolate, and then you pull the stick out.
Yeah. You sandwich it.
There's a ritual.
There's a ritual. You're right. And you have to use the graham crackers to kind of squeeze the marshmallow off of there.
Yeah.
That's the campfire delicacy right there.
Right.
There's a lot of delicacies from around the world. That one is the American campfire delicacy. That's a tradition right there.
Right.
And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about a little bit. These big traditions. America loves to make big things. That is definitely a tradition.
Yeah.
Whether it's our spaceships, NASA was a big idea, our monuments, our cars. We used to make some ridiculously big cars.
Oh my God.
There was, I was watching.
There's that one that's sitting out in our driveway right now. The
my wagon,
Mercury Griswold station wagon. It's huge.
She's 18 feet, man. She's just 18 feet. But
one highway, zero city.
Downhill. But Montana holds the name of I think it's Montana, Big Sky Country. That's the state nickname.
Well, you hear about these roadside attractions. We were talking about this the other day when we were talking about driving down Route 66.
The world's biggest frying pan.
Yeah, the roadside attractions, biggest nonstick frying pan, biggest yarn of, or biggest ball of yarn, biggest, if Despicable Me is to be believed, the biggest can of beer.
The big beer. Yeah, they're in the opening montage after the pyramids had been stolen.
Yeah. But yeah, it's always the biggest something.
Yeah. We do this. We love our big stuff. The big gulp, the big Mac, the big states, big hair. We even use it in
the 80s. The
80s country music today. They still have the big hair. We use it in advertising. Every summer the fair comes around.
The big Fresno Fair, yeah.
Big times are back. Big Fresno Fair.
Yeah.
Clovis has big hat days.
Yeah.
So just bigness. We like big. We like big things. At one point there was a car I was watching this thing, they were talking about the biggest cars to ever be made in America. Just regular production stuff, not like special,
see how ridiculous we can be type thing.
not the millionaire who pays for a custom car to be built. This was off the assembly lines, something designed in Detroit and built in America. A production vehicle you could go down to your Chevy, your GM dealership, your Ford dealership, your Dodge dealership and buy.
Okay.
And it was literally a sub sandwich short of 20 feet.
So 19 feet.
It was 19 and a half feet long.
Oh, a 6-inch Subway sandwich.
Yes.
Wow.
This thing was a lunch sandwich from being 20 feet long.
Wow.
A 1-car garage is 10 by 20.
So it either
I don't know what that is in metric.
fit. If you got all the way in, there would be no room for anything else.
No. We love our big cars and we love our big engines. We were watching Top Gear, and they were driving some, I think it was a BMW, and then, it's got the big engine, the 4.4, and it's like, dude, that's small. Around America, anything under 5 liters is small.
Say V6 at least.
V6, yeah. Well, I think this one was a V8 that he was driving, but it was a 4.4. It was a Mustang.
Was it a Mustang?
Yeah, or something they were driving. They were saying, it's got the big engine from the V8 Mustang, and it was the 4.6.
Yeah, we were watching that recently. I can't remember what it was though.
Can't remember what it was driving. Yeah, but they borrowed some company that Ford has partnered with. They gave him the same one. It's like, yeah, technically that's the same engine block from the Mustang, but that's the smallest V8 available, bro. I mean, America, we made things. What is it?
I like how they describe you, revving your engines, doing the drag races, and it's like you rev it till the nuts cut off, rev it till the valves come out and dance on the bonnet, and then you go.
Then you shift. Yes. But, again, my big station wagon, it's a 302. It's a 5.5 liter. Yeah.
Well, it's a lot of car.
It's a lot of car, yeah. And that's actually the smaller engine.
Wow.
There was the 351 cubic inch option.
Is that why your dad always went 30 miles an hour everywhere in it?
No, that's just because he's an old coot. That's because my dad was the real life version of Abe Simpson. He was a cantankerous old coot. In the right hand lane with his left turn signal on. Yep.
Going 30.
Doing 30 down a main drive.
He got pulled over once for going too slow.
Yes. That is a thing. It's not something you hear about often because most Americans blow through speed limits. But you can be pulled over for going too slow.
Well, it's dangerous because you're causing traffic jams. You're causing people having to slam on their brakes. So it's a accident hazard.
Yes, the technical term is impeding the flow of traffic.
There you go. Well, I was saying maybe a month or so ago. It's like. They have speed maximum speed limit, 30, usually it's 40 around town, but they need to make speed minimums for all these old people that are going 20 everywhere on 1-lane roads and you're stuck behind them. You can't get around them. It's like you need speed minimums as well.
I'll have to look this up, but I think that is actually a thing in place, but it needs to be addressed. Because I believe the minimum speed for a main road, where the speed limit would be, I think, 40, I think the minimum speed is actually 25. That needs to be addressed. That needs to be raised.
Yes.
However, most Americans, we are a nation of scofflaws.
Yes. That's something we are not so proud of, but... Especially now, it's like 40 miles an hour, that's just a suggestion.
Well, most people look at the speed limit as a speed minimum.
Yeah, you need to be going at least this much. And they got this weird idea in their head that if I'm going under 5 miles above the speed limit, I'm not going to get pulled over.
Yeah.
Depending on how bored the cop is, they can pull you over for going 1 over the speed limit. If they wanted to. If they were bored enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially with modern speedometers being so terribly accurate.
Right.
I mean, way back in the day of the 80s, 70s, and 60s, there was a little bit of fudge error. 2 or 3 miles an hour fudginess that you could say it wasn't calibrated, or you got the wrong size tires or whatever.
But these digital ones now.
Oh my God, it's crazy how accurate they are.
Right.
So the progression of technology has kind of eliminated that excuse.
Right.
But it doesn't matter what the speed limit says. People are going to do 5 to 10 miles an hour over that. That is why on the freeway, the minimum speed is like 90.
If you're in the fast lane, yeah.
Yeah. Well, in theory, because this is something Americans do that we shouldn't do. We pass on the right for some reason. You're not supposed to, but people do that.
When people do that. Oh my God, that pisses me off because, it's like, okay, I'm going to pass you in 20 seconds because it's the slow lane. You're going to have to slam on your brakes.
Yeah.
Either that or cut off somebody, in the middle lane because there's another car that's going slow, which people usually do and people are usually okay with. But, oh my God.
Yeah. Well, we're always in a big hurry to get to that. Nothing we got to do.
Yeah.
But that's a rant for another day.
Yeah.
In fact, I think we did that with Tony, Giant Ass Alien on Spotify. Check him out.
Just recently.
Yeah, so I don't know if that episode is posted by the time this one's posted.
I'm sure it has.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But even if that episode hasn't, Giant Ass Alien on Spotify, go check him out. He's our buddy.
Yeah, with Tony, the Jive Ass Alien.
Yeah. We're just a group of people making cool stuff. Speaking of cool stuff, and cool stuff is blowing stuff up. We love doing that. We as a nation,
every 4th of July.
Every 4th of July and every chance we get, we love blowing stuff up.
Yeah, but fireworks were not an American invention.
No,
Chinese, I think.
Yes, they are. We use them as a metaphor or an analog for the bombs bursting in air during the battle. The song was written for the 1812 War of 1812, but yes, we use them for a metaphor to celebrate declaring our independence from Britain in 1776.
Yep.
Today, the 4th of July, the Declaration of Independence was ratified on July 4th, 1776.
But it wasn't complete until
the end of the war, which was, I can't remember the exact date of when King George finally said, "Fine, you bloody rabble can just manage yourselves." But that was 1783. Yeah, 7 years of war. And it worked, though.
We won.
That great analogy there with Hamilton.
Yeah.
Fine, you can have your independence, but don't come crying to me when it all goes wrong.
Yeah.
I love their portrayal of King George.
You've been freed. Do you know how hard it is to lead?
Yes. Building something is much harder than taking something apart. Any fool with a sawzall can break stuff.
Right. Or a sledgehammer.
Or a sledgehammer can break stuff. But it takes forethought, planning, and skill to build stuff.
Build it back up.
And then build it so that it stands for the last 247 years that we've been here.
And that you don't do any of the stuff that you just fought so hard to get away from. Which, if the forefathers saw what we were dealing with now.
Oh my God, they'd be leading us down the streets in revolt.
Yeah. But anyway, like we said, they're not going to get political.
We're gonna try not to. I'll get on our soapboxes here.
But yeah, explosions. We love explosions. They're great. Especially people in this neighborhood. Love explosions.
Yes. Well, that's touching on our soapbox a little bit. I'm not going to get on it, but I will touch the box. Just get it. Oh my.
Oh Lord, go on.
That's what's kind of prompted me to do it. There's a lot of people out there screaming and crying about everything wrong in our nation, wanting to just burn it all down. And what I'm trying to say here is there's something worth saving.
Yeah, it's not all bad.
No.
It's just everyone just focuses on the bad.
Yeah. And well, what is a nation? It's a group of people sharing a common culture. Mm-hmm. People, by our nature of being human, are imperfect. Thus, anything we make is going to be a reflection of the person making it and share our imperfections. Mm-hmm. No one is perfect, therefore nothing ever made by humans is perfect. Oh no, our nation's flawed. You don't say! Every nation's flawed because every nation has people in it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that's what prompted me to okay, well, what is American culture and what are the best parts of it that we can kind of talk about? That, this is why we need to continue to exist, because we need somewhere and we need a nation that creates Levi's jeans. We need a nation that creates Huey Lewis in the news. We need a nation that builds rockets and puts people into space. We've got Elon Musk trying to go to Mars. Who else is trying that right now? Nobody.
Nobody that we know of, anyway.
Yeah. No other nation's doing that. Everyone else gave up on space.
Yeah, when we won the space race, everyone's like, oh.
The only people that came a close second was the Soviet Union. They got into space first. They put satellites in orbit, which really scared the daylights out of people. Sputnik 2, congratulations to them. But we landed on the moon first, and then the Soviet Union just ran out of gas in many ways.
I was about to say figuratively or literally?
Yes. By the late 60s, the wheels were starting to fall off. They had a lot of internal problems. Topic for another time.
Yeah.
And a lot of interesting history there. I want to get a guy, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I want to get him on there. He grew up in that, and yes.
Anyway.
Ooh, I'm seething at the bit to get him in here.
I mean, America has given birth to lots of great themes.
Yeah.
And that are, shared the world over now. I mean, look at Disney.
Disney is an amazing American icon. Three things right there. Disney, Star Wars, Star Trek. You can go to any part of the world. Those three things will be there.
Well, two of which are owned by the same company.
Recently, yes.
But yeah. Oh man, if Disney spot Star Trek.
No. No.
No.
No.
I mean, Walt Disney himself was a very patriotic American.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's why he made the Abraham Lincoln animatronic.
Yeah.
Is
the great moments with Mr. Lincoln.
It was his favorite president. He used to dress up like it as a child. He appeared in play playing him as a child, and he just loved Abraham Lincoln.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I learned that on a Provost Park Pass. There are pictures of him dressed up as Abraham Lincoln in the waiting area for
awesome.
Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln. I don't know if they're still there, but they were when he made this video and he was showing them. So, shout out to Chris and Amanda Provost.
Thank you. We love your stuff. Keep going, guys.
Yeah.
The one where you're at the Veterans Memorial in D.C.
Oh, that was touching. Very touching.
That brought the feels.
Mm-hmm.
That brought the feels.
Yeah.
Wow. That was a powerful episode on that.
It really was, yeah, because it had his raw emotion in it because it was alive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But anyway.
I couldn't do live.
Me neither.
I get too nervous. So, getting back to building big things, that we do things like that. And the best parts of America, the Wild West. No other nation had the cowboy thing.
No, it was kind of synonymous with the gold rush.
Sure, yeah. Well, synonymous with, but also and kind of parallel. Because the gold rush was 49 and the Wild West kind of came after because
It's kind of the product of the gold rush, everyone heading out west.
Yeah, all these little towns springing up here and there because they were trying to,
Strike it rich.
strike it rich. The gold mines and silver mines, all these little towns like Deadwood. These little, the American Southwest is dotted with abandoned towns that somebody found gold or silver or something valuable to dig out of the ground. So a town grew up around that mine, and then when the mine shut down, that vein of ore tapped out, the town just sort of dissolved.
They all went somewhere else that had a fresh vein of gold.
Looking for that opportunity.
Yeah.
The land of opportunity.
Yeah.
And that is what brought so many people here.
From so many different cultures.
Yes. And greeting them in the New York Harbor.
Lady Liberty.
Lady Liberty, the Statue of Liberty, which was given to us
from France.
And there's a lot of interesting things going on there.
I actually saw a photograph of the woman they based Lady Liberty off of.
Yeah, they had her modeling it. Yeah. But there was a few things before that led up to her modeling that. Give me a second.
Well, yeah, why did France give it to us?
I'm glad you asked. So as far back as 1865,
okay,
France really kind of looked up to America.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
You filthy Americans.
Yeah. Cheese-eating surrender monkeys. When are you going to start building some good cars, huh?
We got the Renault. We don't need any more.
Paul Hollywood noticed it, and he was right. France doesn't build posh cars. They've just got little hatchbacks.
Yeah.
You got the Renaults, the Clios, and the Peugeots.
And you can't eat a baguette while you're driving.
You can drive drunk, but not while eating a baguette. What?
That's France for you.
Priorities, man.
But anyway, so France looked up to America.
Largely coming out of the French Revolution, 1793 and shortly thereafter.
Because America did it and they wanted to be able to do it too.
Yeah, and then going into the Napoleonic Wars. It really wasn't until about 1820 that things kind of started to simmer down. Kinda. When you got going into, I think, about 1850 under Napoleon III, who was like a second cousin to Napoleon. So that's why he was able to share the name. I didn't know this. Speaking of Star Trek, the guy who played Odo,
okay,
the shapeshifter on DS9, he's
very French, isn't he?
He is very French.
He's got a very French name.
I can't pronounce it. I'm not going to try. You can look it up. Odo from Deep Space Nine. He is actually a direct descendant of Marie Antoinette.
Oh, really?
Like his great-great-great-great-grandmother was Marie Antoinette's sister or something like that. Yes. So he has got an exceedingly French name. Lots of silent letters that I can't pronounce, so I'm not even going to try. I'll butcher it and get it wrong. Sorry. I'm sorry. Just a redneck from Fresno. Okay, so a name I will try to pronounce was Edouard René de la Boule. I think that's how it's pronounced. Proposed the idea in 1865 that if ever any monument should be built in New York, in America, it would be a monument raised to the idea of liberty. Would be a joint venture between America and France. That kind of put the idea. He was a known politician and lawyer, notable person at the time, and he kind of made that threw the idea out there, and people started to kind of work with it, and a few things were drafted. Unfortunately, they had to put the idea to the side because war were declared.
Oh, that war.
The Franco-Prussian War of 1870 to 71. Thankfully, it only lasted about 6 and 7 months.
Well, that's not long.
It's not long, but man, did it do some damage. Paris, the city of Paris, got shelled.
Ooh.
Yes, the Prussian army pretty much wreaked havoc and blitzkrieged their way through the French countryside right up to the gates of Paris city. Yeah. Otto von Bismarck was very happy and proud of his work there because he had a plan.
He had a plan.
Bismarck,
he always has a plan.
Bismarck always had a plan. Extra history. Their little series on actually I shouldn't say little, it was like 6 parts or something like that. Their exceptional series on Otto von Bismarck. Pretty much the guy responsible for German unification and the creation of the German Empire was pretty much his machinations. So if you want to prevent World War II, you would have to go back in time and assassinate him probably around the 1840,
assassinating Hitler wouldn't do it.
No,
because
it was too late.
The groundwork was laid in back, long before.
World War II was pretty much inevitable by 1919.
When World War I ended?
Yeah. There are many people out there who would conjecture that the period of 1914 to 1944 is simply another 30 years war. Is the second 30 years war. There was one like back in the Middle Ages. That whole period.
I think that was France versus England. No, wait, that was the 100 Years' War. Never mind.
Yeah. How many wars can we have?
Lots.
It's actually theorized that at any given time in this world, there's at least 20 to 30 wars happening at any given time. It's a big planet. A lot of people. Thankfully, most of these wars are small.
But anyway, back to the plot.
Back to something not war. Talking about peace and prosperity and liberty. That the idea of it was put together, and the design the gal was modeling. It was designed by Frederick Auguste Bertoldi. And the framework was designed by Gustav Eiffel. Yes. Well, he was brought in, the design, and they tried to start building it, but they were having structure problems, so they brought in Gustav Eiffel to help with the structure, the framing, and everything.
And that's who designed the Eiffel Tower.
Yes, it is. So he was definitely like, hey, you've built some impressive structures.
What's funny is the Eiffel Tower is never meant to be a permanent monument. It
Yeah.
was erected for like a World's Fair,
Yeah.
and they just never took it down.
Yeah.
Some native, French people hate it.
Call it an eyesore. Just like the Louvre.
I was about to say, just like the pyramid on the Louvre. It's
Yeah.
a 50-50 chance.
Love it or hate it. They either love it or hate it. And you know what? I kind of can share some of the frustration because Fresno City Hall, I never liked it.
The pyramid's a lot more interesting than Fresno City Hall.
It was supposed to look futuristic.
It's just
kind of weird.
Yeah, everyone calls it the spaceship. I thought our old city hall that looked more like the Capitol was more regal, but that's me.
Marble columns. Who lives here? The Pope? It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
All these marble columns.
It's like I can see the pyramid on the Louvre because it's not as garish as Fresno City Hall, but I forgot where I was going with this. Anyway, yeah.
At least it's not something 21st century. It's supposed to trying to look 21st century right in the heart of a very ancient.
I think one of the reasons why a lot of native French people,
Parisians,
whatever it is, don't like the Eiffel Tower is because it brings American tourists.
Yes, and American tourists are
dumb and obnoxious.
Yes. In fact, Clarkson pointed this out. He's like,
you're not all like this all the time.
But Americans, when you're on vacation, you're
hilarious.
And he's right.
He's right. It showed a group of American tourists in the Okavango. No, not the Okavango. The Okavango Animal Preserve.
The Okavango Delta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, the khaki shorts, the black socks pulled up, the binoculars, the best comb over in the world. It's the stereotypical
fanny packs are not cool. I don't care what.
I don't care what pop star said they are. They're not.
I don't care if it has the Michael Kors logo. I don't care if it's Coach. I don't care if it's Gucci. I don't care what brand it is. It's a freaking fanny pack, and we used to make fun of people for wearing them
all the time. All the time.
Yep.
But yeah, it's
Dorks.
like the stereotypical tourist. The usually button up Hawaiian shirt. or polo shirt, khaki shorts, the black socks pulled up,
yeah,
the camera on the lanyard,
someone's weird grandparent wandering around. Yes, yes. American tourists are usually very dumb,
and they talked about that in the Mouse Tales book. They had a whole section on questions.
Oh yeah,
when Americans go on vacation, their mind shuts off, and they ask a lot of really dumb questions.
Yeah. Now that I think might be a universal thing, that when a person goes on vacation,
they don't want to think. Their mind does shut down. But
yeah. But anyways.
So yeah, Lady Liberty.
So you had some people that were really good at designing things and building things, working on it, and the idea was that France would finance and build the statue. America had to provide the land and the pedestal. A lot of machinations happened there, a lot of vying and jockeying who would get what and where would it be. It really came down to a fight, like a serious proper fight between New York, New Jersey, Boston, and Philadelphia.
I can see Philadelphia because there's so much American history there, but
right,
it would just, I don't know, it being landlocked, maybe just because it's always been on the island, we can't really see something that big and meaningful being landlocked. So it's like it would take up the whole town.
Well, the statue itself is only 150 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
The pedestal is also about 150 feet. So you've got 300 300 total feet.
Mm-hmm.
But the statue she's only 150. So,
I'm glad they put it where they did, though, because it greets people
as they're
coming into the country.
Yeah.
Because Ellis Island is where all the immigrants came through.
Yeah. And it's got a fascinating history of itself, stretching all the way back to when Old New York was once New Amsterdam.
Why they changed it, I can't say. Guess they just liked it better that way.
Istanbul, Constantinople, that's Istanbul, Constantinople.
Okay.
Yeah, stop there before we get a copyright strike.
Good stuff.
They Might Be Giants. Awesome song. And where was I going with this? Okay, so
provide the pedestal.
To provide the pedestal, and the idea was to have the statue be there and unveiled and completed in time for the America's centennial anniversary.
And we got a foot.
That was better than that.
Oh.
They had the head and her right arm.
Oh,
with
I thought
torch.
they just had like the foot or something.
No. They started with the two most important parts so that they could get people excited about it.
I see.
They had, so we didn't have the statue, but we did have her head, crown, and the hand with the torch. So, yeah, they didn't make the goal, but they got people excited and thinking about it. And that was when it started like, hey, this is a serious thing here. Where is it going to go? Politicians were looking for, doing basically what we would call now crowdfunding, looking for people to, buy in. And the city leaders of New York said, look, this is how it's going to be, hey, New Yorkers, chip in now, otherwise it's going to go to New Jersey.
No!
Haramfise! And so the people of New York
of New York hate New Jersey. I don't know why. I mean, we asked one person from New York that, and he just replied with, it's a cesspool. But
what denotes it as being as such? I don't know. I'm not getting into that one.
Yeah, we've never been to New York or New Jersey, so we can't say.
Nah.
This is all hearsay.
Yeah. Fifth-hand information. Not even third-hand, fifth-hand.
But anyway, so he got the people pitching in money so that it would stay in New York.
Yeah. To get the idea, to select the island and build this pedestal and to get everything. It was finally opened in October 28th, 1886. So, yeah, they missed it, but just. As far as a public works project, not too bad.
Yeah.
They only missed it by 10 years.
Yeah.
We're 20 years into trying to build a train.
You probably got another 20 to go before it's done.
Yeah. What was it when we said, Tony said, he's like, hey, okay, we're going to go from Sacramento to LA. Now it's Fresno to Bakersfield. Before long, it's going to be like Fresno to Kawa.
I was going to say Clovis.
Toot, toot, and you're there.
Wasn't that quick?
It's like that scene in History of the World. Yes, you are going on a trip. You're going to Rome. But I am in Rome.
Did I lie?
Oh, Mel Brooks. Yes.
Speaking of Mel Brooks and Lady Liberty and Spaceballs, when their ship transforms into the lady with the vacuum, she kind of resembles Lady Liberty. Remember that?
Yes.
And their escape chutes go out through the little things in her crown.
Mega Maid.
Mega Maid, yeah.
That's what she was called, Mega
she was
Maid.
Vacuuming up the atmosphere of the planet.
And
it crashes
into the planet of the apes. Spaceballs.
Oh, there goes the planet.
There goes the neighborhood. And she's become such an incredible icon, using so many different things. The Spaceballs is spoofing Planet of the Apes there.
Yeah.
You maniacs! You blew it all up! You blew it all up!
That's been parodied and parodied and parodied.
Yeah, that scene. It was even in Twisted Metal 2.
Well, what about Ghostbusters?
Ghostbusters! I can't hear that song. Take me higher and higher, higher, your love.
Yeah, without thinking of Lady Liberty walking through downtown New York.
Yes! Full of pink goo.
Pink goo.
Smashing in the open, yeah. I can't hear that song without thinking about that. It's good. Yeah, that song.
Fighting the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, wasn't it? Wasn't she fighting that? Or was that in the first one? I get my Ghostbusters mixed up.
That wasn't the first one.
Okay.
That was the Zool.
That's right. It's like, don't think of anything. It just popped in my head. Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
But one more quick fun nugget of information on Lady Liberty there. That the name Liberty, she was based on a Roman goddess. Yeah. Where did I put that?
Whose name was? Talk amongst yourselves.
Because the Libertas, the Roman goddess Libertas, goddess of freedom, goddess of liberty and freedom. So that's why the crown and robe and such comes from that.
Because she was a goddess.
Yes. A Roman goddess. So, toga.
So, I was about to say, hence the toga.
I know nothing else about her.
Oh, well.
Because I just learned that tonight. I just learned that before we were going on. So I was like, oh, gotta remember that.
We're putting Lily to bed, and he was in here taking notes.
Yes. Building the ship as we fly it. That's kind of take me out to the ball game, Statue of Liberty, the National Mall, which sounds like that's not a shopping center.
No.
We love our shopping centers.
We do.
And that is something that is also interesting to the American commerce. Going way back, Adam Smith, I think the book Wealth of Nations commented that the use of the word sir, other nations
Sire.
What?
Pronounce it sire.
Sire or sir. Yeah, sir and sire. That was reserved for nobility. You didn't just call any old bloke a sir. You had to be knighted to be a sir.
Right.
And, well, in America, we just kind of throw that around. It's pretty much lost all of meaning, really.
Well, I mean, the people that were being knighted by Queen Elizabeth were just, that didn't, they're maybe, British staples,
Yeah.
But didn't, I mean, back in the Middle Ages when you were knighted, you had to go out and conquer something. You had to kill some people.
Yeah.
You had to save somebody.
Yeah.
You had to
Chivalry, bravery, courage in the face of certain defeat.
do something knight-like, not write a song about Princess Diana.
Yeah.
But, whatever.
Well, conversely, they also knighted Sir Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, but Patrick Stewart is awesome.
Yes. I'm just saying, some really cool people get knighted too. But you noticed that only in America is the merchant elevated. In many other nations and cultures, especially back then, the merchant was kind of, ew. Kind of looked down upon. That only in America was a merchant seen as a valuable person. We've always been...
Well, they contribute to the economy.
Yes. In fact, they are the economy.
They are the economy, yeah. The people that buy their wares are contributing.
Yes. The term economy as a whole is kind of very nebulous and crazy and kind of a hard thing to summarize as well. But the idea of private property, that this is property and I'm going to do things with it and then go make money with it. That was kind of an idea that started here in America, the private property concept. Because we have so much open land.
Well, I mean, in England, not many people really had private property because all property belonged to the king.
Exactly.
All money was the king's money. He was just letting you use it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why minting your own coins was a big no-no.
Wars were declared over that. But here in America, we had several different banks.
Oh yeah.
We had banks in every other state, and sometimes in two or three different banks in one state.
And you hope that the bank you're giving the guy who used the bank that you're giving your money to honored your money. His bank honored your money, because otherwise it'd be useless.
Yes, and also that the bank you just put your gold coins into.
Hope they don't go under.
Hope they don't go out of business.
Yeah.
Yes,
because that happened a lot.
And money was made out of silver and gold, not just paper. Paper money was rare. Gold and silver, that was money. And
it was actually, valuable.
Yes.
Not just a representation of the value.
Yeah. Now, today, the money in our pockets today is essentially a nearly worthless IOU.
Basically, yeah.
It's a promissory note that the government promises to pay you that much money's worth of gold someday. But anyways.
Yeah.
That gets complex and political, and
we're not going to go down that road.
Trying to describe the machinations of wise central banking systems, the pros and cons, complicated, not doing it, and boring.
Yeah, I remember my economics and government class, and our teacher said, "I'm sorry, I've tried to make this interesting. It's not." You guys are just going to have to grit your teeth and read the book. I've tried. Yeah. I've tried to make this interesting. I can't.
Central banking systems, it's proper nerd stuff. There's just... If you're there for a good time, you're going to be disappointed. But in America, merchantism was part of the American ethos, the American character, straight from the get-go. That this is my property and no one else gets to tell me what to do with it.
Yeah.
This is mine.
That's revolutionary.
Yes. And that was that was one of the things that led up to the revolution and has carried through. At least I would like to think that spirit of this is mine, and nobody gets to tell me what I get to do with my cup.
Put your cup down.
No. Did you not just hear me? My cup.
That's the joke.
That is indeed.
Oh man.
Oh, it's just moments like that is, yeah, that's why I love you. Because you get it.
I get it.
But to
Say we're dorks, but we have fun.
yeah. That, you know, but that merchantism, capitalism, America has always been a capitalist country, and that's what capitalism is, and why it's been so central to our ethos, the American ethos, the concept of this is what I know, this is what I can do. I'm going to go out there, get busy, build something, and make a bunch of money off of it. And it's just always been there, and I'm hoping that stays part of it.
Yeah, in fact, people that go out and start their own business, they're, looked up to.
Yeah.
I mean, and they should be, because it's hard and it's dangerous, and you're putting your faith in it and hoping it you can see it through, because
9 out of 10.
I was about to say 9 out of 10 small businesses die in the first 4 years.
First year.
Really?
Yeah. First year. It's it's brutal. It's brutal, especially in places like California, which you're regulated to death.
Oh, yeah. So many businesses have left California. I mean, businesses that are, the offshoots of the business are here, restaurant chains, but the main corporation that controls the restaurant chains have packed up and left because they were tired of being regulated to death.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why Elon, speaking of building cool things, Tesla took his Gigafactory and built it in Texas because California regulation was just he's just no, I'm just going to move it to Texas.
A lot of the Disney company moved back east to Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole animation studios. There during the COVID shutdown.
Yeah.
The city of Anaheim was an economic nightmare.
That whole town, that whole area depended on Disneyland. And when it shut down for more than a year, I can only imagine the amount of businesses that went under.
The black hole. Because the city of Anaheim that exists today grew around the gravity well that is Disneyland.
Yeah, there was nothing there before it was Disneyland.
It was farms.
Orange groves, orange and walnut groves.
Yeah.
It
was just orchards.
Yeah,
it was
Disneyland
orchards.
was there first, and the town grew around it. So
without that anchor, that gravity well to
Right.
bring in the tourism dollars,
hotels, restaurants, gift shops, what have you.
Yeah.
Everything depended on that park bringing in people. And when it stopped for over a year, oh man.
The nightly, just one thing. The nightly fireworks. They go through a lot of fireworks.
Yeah.
The company that they were buying those fireworks from, how much revenue was lost?
I think they made a lot of them, but the who they were buying the supplies through, right?
Yeah. You think about how many bags of popcorn are sold in Disneyland per day.
Yeah.
How many churros?
Right. The suppliers sold them those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The concession stand. Just think about how many bottles of water, how many sodas.
How much Coca-Cola wasn't bought because Disneyland wasn't there.
How many, and then you start getting to the secondary things, people staying at the Holiday Inn, the Best Westerns, the Super 8, whatever.
All the little hotels that are there on Catella and Harbor.
Yeah.
You
start getting into the sphere, the rings of influence around Disneyland, because it's right there. That is the gravity well that holds the Anaheim together.
Yeah.
But,
so that's the power Disney has.
That's the power Disney has, that great American icon there. And it's built stuff, man. I mean, Orlando, same way.
But Orlando opened up a lot sooner than California did.
True. Very true. That's a difference in state leadership there.
Yeah, and we're not going to go into the politics on that. But
No.
yeah, Disneyland and everywhere else in the world except for Anaheim opened up months before.
Yes.
But during all that, they're getting tired of the regulations and dealing with all the BS, so they're like, we're out.
Because they wanted to go and make cartoons. They wanted to go make movies.
Mm-hmm. And when the movie theaters are shut down, what do you do?
Yeah, you can't.
The best you could do is release them on Disney Plus for a fee.
Yeah.
You know? And that's not bringing in the revenue that they would usually have if somebody went to a theater and watched it.
You can't get box office sales if you can't go to the box office.
Right.
Hello, McFly.
Right. That's one of the reasons why the Disney company's in trouble right now, because of their former CEO.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. Anyways.
So
Getting back to America builds cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we try to share some of our cool stuff with the world. Like these are the things we make. We make cowboy movies. Clint Eastwood, Good, Bad, and the Ugly. We make, actually
Tombstone.
Tombstone, one of my favorite. That is like
everyone, even if you don't like Westerns, you like Tombstone.
Oh my god.
Because I'm not really big on Westerns. I never watched the John Waynes and the Clint Eastwoods, but I like Tombstone.
Speaking of which, I got a bone to pick with RottenTomatoes.com.
What?
I looked up their, just kind of scrolling through the internet, 100 greatest Western movies, and I'm not going to go through all 100.
No, obviously not.
I don't have that kind of time. I don't have that kind of attention span. So, top 10. It's the heater.
Yeah, our heater's coming in through the microphones.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
Okay. I've never seen most of these, but some of them, I don't know. Number 10, The Searchers, which was a John Wayne movie. So, okay, maybe that one was probably good.
Everyone's trying to cancel John Wayne right now, but, he was a great actor, so. He defined the Western genre.
Definitely. And I'm really getting fed up with these people trying to cancel everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're not going to go into that right now.
Yeah.
He said some unsensitive things.
Oh, Boomer said Boomer thing decades ago.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
He's been dead for how many years?
He died in 1980.
Yeah.
Ay. But anyways, I have a bone to pick with Rotten Tomatoes. Their number one movie, though, was, I agree with this, Good, Bad, and the Ugly. The Good, Bad, and the Ugly, yeah. Number two, though, The Treasure of the Sierra Nevada. I don't know how good of a movie that is. I think that is the origin of the famous line, badges? We don't need no stinking badges.
It's been spoofed many, 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 many times.
Yeah, it might have made the list just for that reason, but I don't know.
Maybe.
But it's like High Noon. Okay, it's got Gary Cooper in it, but other than that, that's all I know about it. Stagecoach, Rio Bravo. Now that one I have seen. That one is a great double. You've got John Wayne and Dean Martin.
Ooh.
Yeah.
He truly was the Dean of Martins.
Hell or High Water, True Grit. And they specified the
7?
newer one.
The newer one?
The newer one was number 7 on their list.
Where's the original one?
If it was on the list, it was further down.
Yeah, what the hell?
It was truer to the book. It was definitely a grittier movie. I really would be hard to pick which one of those was a better movie. I've tried to weigh that one out.
Okay, well, we're not going to ask you to do it right now.
Yeah. But, I mean, it was awesome to see Jeff Bridges, the Big Lebowski, Sam Flynn from Tron.
No, just Flynn.
Yeah, he was just Flynn.
Sam Flynn was his son.
Right.
Kevin Flynn.
Kevin Flynn.
Yeah.
The dad from Tron Legacy being this larger-than-life, rough and tough cowboy, U.S. Marshal that just, shoot first, ask questions later.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
If he asks questions at all. Usually just shoot first. That's it. the character of Rooster Cogburn was that kind of guy, just stubborn, more stubborn than a mule, tougher than nails, and not going to take anybody's guff. So watching Jeff Bridges do that was magic.
Jeff Bridges is a great actor.
He is, but he's usually much more mellow.
That's the roles he's given, though.
Yeah. Well, just as a person.
Like that's the ones we know him for. I'm sure there's
dozens
other.
Just watching interviews, he's usually much more mellow. I think he actually kind of, much the way
taking on the
persona
of the dude,
just a little bit. That chillaxed.
Even in Tron Legacy is Sam, you're messing with my Zenthane, man.
Yeah, but I have to. It's like some other picks for top 10 there were just kind of like, Tombstone's not in there.
I was about to say everyone likes Tombstone.
Yeah, it's not. How did Tombstone not make their top 10?
Yeah,
Rotten Tomatoes, come on. What's the matter, you, huh?
What do you want on your tombstone? Old commercial advertisements for Tombstone pizza. What do you want on your tombstone? Pepperoni and mushrooms, please.
I love that. That was awesome.
That was great.
Those were great.
90s commercials. We should do a show about 90s commercials.
Oh, we could. We definitely could. But I mean, yeah, Western movies. You had John Wayne, Clint Eastwood, Lee Marvin, Humphrey Bogart, Dean Martin. You even had I just completely drew a blank on his name.
What else was he in?
Damn it. It's a Wonderful Life.
Jimmy Stewart?
Jimmy Stewart was even in a number of westerns.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Because he married a woman who worked in westerns later in his career. So.
Yeah, that kind of rebounded his career a lot. Two of his, what I think were some of the best ones, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valley and The Shootist, which was John Wayne's last movie. In those roles, that's like, oh my God, that is Jimmy Stewart. Wow. Like, it's out of place for him because he usually plays a refined city-going person.
Or really nervous.
Yeah. So being in these Western environments, you was like, why is this nervous city guy in these environments? But it worked perfectly to the story. And he was always in that kind of, that Jimmy Stewart character, but it worked with the story so well. It's like, it just made sense. But Western movies are just part of the American ethos.
Yep.
The Wild West. It was a short period of time, over 100 years ago, but God damn it, we love it.
Well, I mean, it basically defined the West Coast.
Indeed.
Before the gold rush happened, it was all Mexican land.
Yeah.
We didn't buy it from Mexico. We kind of came in, kicked the Mexicans out, and said, we own this now. But
to which the Mexican government just sort of said, meh. You're on your own, folks.
Have fun.
Yeah, your government sold you out, folks. Have fun with that.
Yeah.
Sad but true.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So when you think of, especially if you're in another country and you're thinking of, the American persona, when you think of the West Coast, that's what you think of. The Wild West.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Especially when you get out, in Arizona, Nevada, Texas.
Yeah.
The Southwest areas. Yeah, those plains areas and the deserts areas, yeah. And then you get the great American musicians. You get Waylon, not too far off from there. Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson, their songs, Mama, Don't Let Your Sons Grow Up to Be Cowboys. Yeah, those early Western songs, a lot of them were old folk songs that people were singing while out on the trails. And they just kind of stuck with, those early Hank Williams Sr. songs. I'm so lonely I could cry. Yeah, those were old cowboy songs. A lot of those songs actually started with guys just kind of getting bored, singing to themselves out on the trail, or
the stars at night are big and bright, deep in the heart of Texas.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Well, I mean, it was around long before that. That's why
I know.
it was.
But that's how it's just part of the ethos.
That's how he proved he was in Texas.
Because he just yelled that out, and everyone in the bar.
He's like at a payphone outside. Everyone in the vicinity stopped and did the clap and yelled, "Deep in the heart of Texas." Gets on back on the phone. See?
Wow, you are in Texas.
Another theme from the past, payphones.
Yeah.
We know of one around here that still works, and every now and then we crank call people from it.
Doesn't work too well. Jay saved that number in his phone.
Yeah, so cranked called him from there before.
It's like, this is a prank call going. I actually crank called him. He's like, yeah, I know it's you, Mark. What? How?
It's like, I saved this number in my phone.
All right. Well, this crank call has gone horribly wrong. I'm just gonna hang up now.
This is costing me a quarter.
Actually, I think it was like 50 cents, but it was worth it. I got a memory out of it. It was worth it.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, Western songs,
things. Personal note, I think it's time to let your kids grow up to be cowboys. We need more cowboys.
We need more cowboys.
We've got the soy boys.
Not just the ones that we see in Clovis that are wearing the skin tight jeans, the big buckle, the boots, and the cowboy hat that's never even touched foot on a dirt path before.
I'm getting a little high and mighty for a guy that lives in a city, but
right.
we could use more of the cowboy ethos.
Well, I mean, we see a lot of people dressed like that around here, and we kind of mock them a little bit. We're like, hey, look, it's a real cowboy.
As they climb in and out of their Ford Fiesta or whatever, they got their Hyundai. Yeah. But, while you're touring the American Southwest, maybe drive a little stint down Route 66.
Get your kicks.
On Route 66, yes. All 2,448 miles of it when it was completed.
From
Chicago
to
Santa Maria.
Santa Maria?
Yeah.
I knew it was somewhere in Southern California.
I'm sorry, Santa Monica. From Chicago to Santa Monica. It passes through Illinois, Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and ends right here in California. So it traverses quite a lot from the Great Lakes to the Pacific Ocean.
And along the way, there's many great things to see.
Yep.
The roadside attraction was built for Route 66.
Oh my God. I think you're right.
The concept of the roadside attraction, because, that was back before the interstate, freeways, things like that. If families were on a trip, they were on these,
these weird little curios shops in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. People finding weird things or making weird things and just opening up these stores. That's where the world's biggest frying pan, the world's biggest ball of yarn. That's why I said the
roadside attractions.
Yeah, those things.
Little places where you can stop, stretch your legs,
the world's
and
biggest,
see something.
Gas stations were known for doing things like that. The world's biggest thermometer.
What about? I don't think it's on the Route 66, but the I can't remember what the dinosaurs they used in Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Those are real.
I know they're real, but I can't remember where they are.
They're here in California.
Yeah.
I know that.
Calico? I don't know.
Not sure. I'll have to look
We'll
that
have
one
to
up.
look that up. If you know, let us know.
Yeah.
But yeah, the dinosaurs from Pee-wee's Big
Somewhere
Adventure.
in the Mojave Desert area, I think.
I don't know.
I'll have to look that up.
Well, yeah, we'll look that up later.
I mean, and those are so iconic.
I know.
Those are so iconic that they're still a cultural reference today. They wove them into Grand Theft Auto 5. Yeah, down in the southeast corner of the map, there's this area, the where the big mine is, that you get the big bulldozers. You can steal the big bulldozers. Just a little bit down that road, a little bit towards the ocean, there's this little roadside diner with a big purple T-Rex with a sombrero on it.
And there you go. The concept of the diner were roadside themes.
Roadside diners, yes, where we turned rail cars into roadside diners. I mean, and that was a thing for a long time.
Oh yeah, especially back in the the 50s and the 60s, diners were everywhere.
Yeah.
And the Five and Dime.
The Five and Dime. The drive-in diner. The drive-in movie theater.
Drive.
City planning. And this is really where American cities diverge themselves from the old world, the new world versus the old world, America versus Europe.
Pre to post-war.
We were a country on the move, and that played a part. Disneyland did a lot of things about like that. We started designing our cities around the ownership of cars, whereas most old world nations designed their cities around public transport. And
cable cars, trolleys, buses, what have you. Trains, metro trains.
We had those. In a lot of towns. Fresno had a couple of them. A good number of them, despite being a very small town up until then.
Well, Fresno was built around the railway station.
Yeah. We started as a freaking rail depot in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of farmland, 1872. And just kind of sprawled out from there. Mm-hmm. But by the 1940s, when our house was built in 1950, cars, everyone had a car.
Oh, excuse me. Goodness, sorry.
Well,
I think our garage was an add-on.
Yes, it was.
And, if a family did have a car, they only had one for the entire family.
Yeah.
And the husband took it to work, and the wife stayed home.
Yeah, well, most people only had one car, and yeah. But getting back to road trips, the roadside diners and things like that, that was one reason people liked having a big car, was you could load up everyone into it. You could the idea of the station wagon.
You can go watch the Tex Avery cartoon, The Car of Tomorrow.
My favorite's the one this one was designed with pedestrians in mind.
Just see him try and get away.
The bumper of the car reaches from both sides of the lane.
And it comes with a glass bottom, so when you run somebody over, you can see if you knew him.
The genius of Tex Avery.
He was amazing.
Yes. Oh. So driving Route 66, it was originally finished, built in 1926, and it stretches all that huge destination. But getting back to the interstate system built, they started building the interstate after World War II in the 1950s. Most famously, when Truman left office, him and his wife, I believe her name was Betty, they were going to drive themselves home.
On the interstate?
On the interstate. They wanted to try this new interstate thing out. Because it started while he was in office. And, well, you're the president. You don't drive yourself anywhere.
No.
But now that he was out of office, and this is how different the world was at that time, now he was just a regular person. He drove himself. Or he probably could have hired a chauffeur, but they decided they were going to drive themselves home and try out this new interstate thing. And so it was being replaced. It was starting to supplant some of the old routes, and it did. People who lived along Route 66 really didn't want to see the interstate replace it, because commerce traveling up and down Route 66 sustained a lot of those small towns through the Depression, the whole Dust Bowl era.
Yeah.
And they felt that if something replaced those roads, that'd be the death of their town. And in many cases, they were right. So, unfortunately, a lot of the original Route 66 is gone now.
Yeah, it's been just washed away.
Eroded.
They'd jump over to the interstate for a little bit and then jump back.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get more of it back. Maybe not. I don't know.
I'd like to see them try and preserve it. At least fix, the parts of it that are broken. Make it one road again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it is a cultural icon. How many times do you see Route 66 signs just as decoration?
Again, that it's so culturally relevant, they parodied it again in GTA 5. the little motorcycle club thing that I had there, it was on Route 68.
Oh, I see.
So just slightly off.
Yeah, you'd think it being such a, it probably wouldn't be unless they actually label it as a historical monument that it would be restored. But unless they do that,
that varies by state
and it goes through
region.
several states.
It goes through several states. Some states have declared that a local historical landmark, and so there is special care given to it.
But only in that state.
Only in that state, only in those sections. So it's kind of hit and miss. But how important was it that, the song "Get Your Kicks" on Route 66, originally written by the singer and actor, the rhythm and blues singer, and also an actor. He was played one of the main lead roles in the TV show Emergency way back in the day, and he wrote the song. What was his name? Bobby something.
But he wrote it for the
Nat King Cole Trio. Yes. I had his name here. Where did?
Is that it?
Yes, Bobby Troop.
There you go.
Thank you. Yeah, the song was written. It was written by Bobby Troop, and then he gave it to the Nat King Cole Trio. And they performed it, put it out a single, and made it awesome. Yeah. And it's stuck since in the American ethos. It was also used in the John Steinbeck book, and then The Grapes of Wrath.
Here's the grapes, and here's the wrath.
Yeah, the John Steinbeck book, Grapes of Wrath, where the road is used as both metaphor and setting location. I think it can't. I've never read it. But
me neither. It's another one of those, classics. We need to check it out.
There was even a TV series entitled Route 66. It was a detective drama.
I can see that.
It ran from 1960 to 1964. And the hero car that the detective drives was a Corvette.
Nice.
Yeah.
Another American car.
Yes. That classic American sports car. But those are just a few interesting things. So America is an interesting place. It's complex, it's chaos, it's messy, but damn, we make some cool stuff.
We make some really cool stuff, and we've done a lot of really great things. I think just humankind as a whole, especially right now, is hardwired to not be happy.
Yeah.
Wherever you are. The grass is always greener somewhere else. And so
true.
And especially if you've been stuck in the same spot and you're used to it, and you become numb to the things around you.
Well, this is something we talked about, the self-flagellations that started decades ago. This is kind of the result of it.
Yeah, because we're discussing, it's like, when did patriotism end? Yeah. And I think it started, in the 60s when everyone was,
we began to question our involvement. Why are we policing the world?
Yeah. Yeah. And then the whole hippies, free whatever, down with the government stuff started.
Yeah. And not trusting the government.
And then it's just kind of, ballooned from there. So, but, humans as a whole aren't happy. They love drama for some reason.
We do.
I hate it. But some people, their lives revolve around it.
I think it's the tail wagging the dog.
You think so?
I believe so. That, you've got this small group of people that make a lot of noise.
Yeah. Yeah. Usually the people that are okay with it are quieter.
They've got better things to do.
They have better things to do.
Yes. The empty can rattles the most.
It's like, taking Disneyland, for example. The changes they made in Pirates of the Caribbean to be more politically correct. The people that wanted it to stay the way it was totally outnumbered the people that had their pitchforks and, torches. Yeah. But the people with the pitchforks and torches were louder.
Yes.
So they're the ones that got listened to.
Yeah. And I think this is where we are culturally today is a result of that, of us giving into what I would call culture destroyers, personally. Because, I mean, it's okay to wave the flag. You should wave the flag.
Yeah. If you're in this country and you like it, if you don't like it here, then leave. But, you have the right not to wave the flag, but don't damn the people who want to wave the flag,
And the border's open every day, folks.
Yeah.
If you think that's so much better somewhere else, the grass is so much greener somewhere else, go try it out.
Mm-hmm. Let us know how
Send me
that
a
goes.
postcard.
There's a reason why everyone came here to be free.
Yes. Why so many people were looking to, as the premise song goes, and you look to the Statue of Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's we got away from.
We got away from patriotism.
And we need it back.
Yeah, we've kind of damned it.
Yeah.
And because by claiming that you're a patriot, it's like they label you a racist. It's like, no, I can enjoy other races and still be, proud of my country who share that these other races share it. And
yeah.
It doesn't mean that you're just, white power and whatever. You can still be a patriot and still get along with, everybody.
Yeah.
And be happy that everyone's here.
Yeah. See, and I think exactly. I think it's a small group of people. I think it's the tail wagging the dog. That because most people, if you take a group of people and just leave them be to their own devices, most of them will
You get Oakland. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just looking at our neighborhood.
Oh, okay.
Our neighborhood is exceedingly diverse.
Oh, yes, very.
We've
very.
got a little Asian family that owns the donut shop there.
Mm-hmm. We've got a big Hmong population. We've got a big Hispanic population. We've got just about everybody
We've
here.
got a Punjab radio station.
Right around the corner from us.
And I'm not being sardonic. There's 6-foot letters on the side of the building that say Punjab. They had a sign professionally made, and it looks good.
It's the name of their radio station.
And I think they're adding more trees.
Are they? Yeah, I noticed them doing... Oh, man. Hopefully it blocks sound, because they rent out this space to parties during the summer, and it's annoying.
It's annoying. But as far as something to look at, they're adding some more trees. And more trees, yay, that's beautiful.
We like trees.
We like trees.
Trees are good.
And I think they're one of... also, we get a lot of, the people that just leave their trash on the street. I think they're also part of the group that is helping clean that up.
Yeah.
Because I think I've seen some people out there that work at the radio station going out there and picking it up. It's like, yes. So they care about their neighborhood. And that's that Punjab radio station right next to a Catholic private school.
Right.
And so you've got all these different groups of people. And without some, this is that Rammstein video on Angst.
Mm-hmm.
And without somebody telling you to hate your neighbor, most people are going to be okay living next to their neighbor. Mm-hmm. Even if their neighbor is very different from them, they'll be like, yeah, sure, he's different, but he's not hurting me, so cool.
Yeah, we've got several, different cultures around us, and we're neighborly to all of them.
Exactly.
As long as they're nice. It's not your race, your heritage, the color of your skin that matters. It's your character.
You don't hurt people and don't take their stuff.
Right. And if you're nice, we're going to be nice to you.
Exactly. And most people left to their devices can do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's when you get somebody
who watches the news and...
It's when you get somebody screaming at you to hate someone else is when that starts to happen. So, the Rammstein video comes to mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they were all very neighborly until they got their faces inside their computer screens, and then they start building the walls.
Yeah, and then the paranoia kicks in. The paranoia and angst kick in.
The security cameras, the razor wire, the guns.
Yeah. I like guns, but yes, it's unfortunate.
They're a hobby.
They're a fun hobby.
Yeah.
An expensive hobby.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on the price of ammo.
And no, we don't go hunting. There's no place around here to hunt, I think, but we'll go to the gun range.
That's an even more expensive thing to do.
Yeah, you got licenses,
gear. I don't know how.
Yeah. It's like I could shoot, or you could shoot a stationary target, not a moving one.
No. If I was going
to... You prove that in playing... Dead in 7 Days? That game you had?
Oh, yeah. 7 days. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just called 7 days. Yeah.
No. That's what we
Or
always
7
called it.
Days to Die.
7 Days to Die. There we go.
Yeah, that was a good game. Zombie apocalypse game.
But you could turn off the zombies and just have it be a...
And it, if you turn off the zombies, and it's just basically advanced Minecraft.
But yeah, you have to shoot.
You have to go hunting.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to go hunting. Chickens, pigs, deer.
And they're fast.
Watch out for the bears. Bears will mess you up. Bears will
just
eat
in
you.
real life, they don't drop with one hit.
Yes. It took several hits from my blunderbuss to drop a bear in that game.
What was it? You were watching Forgotten Weapons once, and he was talking about like a anti-rhino or something. The
4-bore stopping gun.
Yeah, because you need the rhino that's charging you to stop there, not 10 feet behind you.
30 feet behind you after it's run through you.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it was and that gets into how they calculate bore on something. You take a ball of lead, and then how many equal balls of lead, 1 pound of lead.
Okay.
And you turn that into balls.
Okay.
And then how many equal balls of lead you can make that are the diameter of the barrel of your rifle. That determines the bore when you're dealing with shotguns. So a 4-bore is a 1/4 pound of lead.
Wow.
That is a 1/4 of a pound per projectile. And this was a side-by-side shotgun.
So you're getting a 1/2 pound of projectile going with each round.
What was it?
Between
two-barrel
the two
shotgun.
barrels, yeah.
Yeah, if you have the shoulder strength, or if you just panic and pulled both hammers back and both triggers at the same time, you're throwing 1/2 pound of lead at whatever it is that's charging at you, and hopefully that takes it down, because if not, you're screwed. But that was the idea, that you had your high-powered rifle to shoot at whatever game you were hunting, and if something started to charge you, you would have that at the ready to turn over, and the rhino or whatever it was that was going to try and eat you, or at least maim and kill you, to defend yourself.
Yeah, but that's why I was thinking, other people use it as a hobby. We don't.
Yeah.
We just find it interesting.
I have nothing against hunting. It's just that I don't have the time and the money to go and do that. I wouldn't mind doing it. I just can't.
Well, since Lily was born, you've barely even been to the range, if at all.
No, I haven't.
It's just, time.
Time and money.
Yeah.
Ammo has... But before Lily was born, 30-06 was $1 a round. I don't want to know what it is now. It's probably about $3 a round.
But anyway, so...
yeah, and we're really getting off right now.
So maybe we should start wrapping this up.
Yeah. Yeah, you can tell we're getting tired. Morica.
Yeah, we're rambling. We ramble when we're tired. So yeah, if you want to put that huge flag on the back of your truck, by all means do it.
Do it. I got one on my porch.
Yeah, we got one on our porch. Got one in our kitchen. Two in our kitchen.
2?
We got the one in the triangle case and the one above the sink.
Oh, that's right. And I got the big colonial one you got me in the garage.
Yeah, the colonial one and the Wales one.
Yes. Big red dragon.
It's funny, when we had our solar panels put in, one of the guys the manager of the operation, it was kind of surprised me, because he was, Mexican heritage.
Yeah.
But he had, "We the People" tattooed right here on his arm. He's like, "Oh, I love your colonial flag, man. That's awesome." And it's like,
it was cool.
He was really cool, and I didn't really expect it.
He was kind of like geeking out on it, like, wow, that's really, and then he saw the Constitution on the back the Bill of Rights on the door. It's like,
you guys are history buffs. That's awesome.
Oh, I'm a history geek.
Apparently he was too, because he found some really old, things in our attic that aren't like constructionally used anymore, and he was like geeking out of them, like ceramic wing nuts or something like that.
Oh, how they used to do household electrics. Yeah,
he was geeking out on it.
Yeah. If you've ever seen an unrestored house from like the early 1900s, the wiring is basically, picture a spider web made of copper. And that's your household wiring. It's complete chaos, and a lot of it's not insulated. And that's one reason house fires used to happen so often. Some rat would be crawling across your wires, trip two of them, poof, they're in. How there? Somebody call the fire brigade.
But anyway, so yeah, if you want to wave your flag, just every time you think, this country's gone down the tubes, and in a lot of ways, you might be right, but stop and think that this country has come a long way
in a very short amount of time.
In a very short amount of time, relatively, and
we're not quite 250 years.
Yeah, and we've accomplished a lot.
For a relatively young nation, we've accomplished a lot and developed a very complex culture. And we've also invented a lot of our own symbols, our own idioms and sayings, and we have our own common practices that you don't find them in other places. So yeah, we're a young nation, but we're not perfect. We're not perfect.
But nobody is.
Nobody is. Again, a nation is a group of people. People are imperfect, and thus everything we make is imperfect. So no nation is perfect. Get off your high horse.
Right. We'll get off ours.
Yeah, because I don't know how to ride a saddle either. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. See you next time.
Toodles.
Bye.